Okay, joining us now is Scott Keogh. He's the president of Audi North America, and few companies are as top of mind, certainly among our users and viewers, in terms of a vehicle that means performance and technology and styling and a lot of things going on with new cutting edge areas of autonomy and driver assist. There's a lot to dig into here, Scott, so let's get right to it.
Sounds great. You've defined us perfectly. So
okay, good. I got all the parameters. Good. All right.
I'm sure.
Let's talk a little bit about where you guys are going with your autonomy technology. You've got this traffic jam pilot that is coming to U.S. market. I'm not clear on that. Will that be in U.S. Audis?
Yeah, look, we view the world in sort of two fronts, if you don't mind a more esoteric conversation.
Okay.
I think the first part of the market, as you've been mentioning, is we have level 2, which is a traffic jam assist right now. We have that in Q7, we have an A4, A5, that whole platform. It's going well. We've about 25% of our business where customers are paying for that technology.
Okay.
And what we're working on aggressively, as you know, is the next level is to level 3. And I think what this is going to do is you start to move from the driver being in charge to the car taking on a lot more of this. Now this to me is like a moonshot. It's difficult, it's challenging, it's not easy. But I think also what I don't want to lose sight of is the technology and what we are bringing to the marketplace is getting better year in and year out. And I think we've been an industry that's always so focused on, says, on September 2nd, you're going to bring exactly this car with exactly that.
Yeah.
We're putting in the types of technologies with the government environment is changing, the legal environment is changing, the interaction between the customer and the car is changing. You know, these fixed milestones aren't so easy. But again, this is what Audi does. We push for things, we push for technology, we push to break barriers, and that's what we'll continue to do. But if you look at some of the systems that will be in the A8 and will be in the A7 as well, whether it's from the park pilots, from the garage pilots, the adaptive cruise systems, the cross traffic, all of this technology, at the end of the day, let's not lose sight of the fact it's going to make the car safer, it's going to make the car better, and we'll push for that battle every day.
And are we
when exactly what in America and when,
yeah,
not ready to lock in on a date.
Are we getting to the point where these technologies are starting to impact the actual designs of the cars? Because, for example, if I'm sitting in traffic and the car's driving itself, I'm probably going to want a different driving experience than if I'm out in some beautiful green twisty lane.
I think that will start to come. And now, obviously, now when you have, you know, let's call it level 2s and level 3s, you still have a driver there, so you're not seeing radical changes. Certainly, you can see it in some of the grille work of our cars. Now, granted, that's a little bit smaller in terms of where we package the LiDARs and where we package the sensors and everything. But certainly, when you get to level 5, then it'll be a whole new world. You know, but I think the truth of the matter, when you start to get out to level 5, I think that's going to be a distinctly different environment. It's going to be a distinctly different profile. I think the other thing that's important is just to get down to some, you know, some facts. I think a lot of people are saying, well, I'm going to walk outside the Detroit Auto Show in 2 years, hit a button, and I'm going to be able to go to Birmingham, Michigan, level 5 across America. And frankly, most of these announcements that you hear are in confined areas, confined ecosystem. It is going to be a long time. I still believe in private ownership. I still believe in making cars safer, and these are all things we're going to continue to do.
And yet you're one of the companies that's been piloting early on, you know, some new models of getting an Audi, of not necessarily even getting an Audi, but getting Audi, right? Brand share, I call it, where I can use any number of different cars for a certain fee. And this has been spreading among some of the luxury brands.
Yeah.
What's the headroom there? Is that going to be a niche thing for a few folks that have an unusual situation? Or are you plumbing that as a way that might be infect the market in a broad way?
I think there is an opportunity there. I think if you look at most of the announcements and most things are being executed, it's going to be a limited opportunity. I mean, let's not lose sight of the fact of what most people are announcing is you're going to get access to a new car, and you're going to pay anywhere from $1,800 to $2 a month for that flexibility and the access.
Sure.
When you speak to most consumers, they say, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm paying $550 a month now on my lease. If you charge me $600, $625, I'm in. I'm good. I love it. Access to new cars all the time. Once you start to get to $1,800, $2,000, you're in a different universe, and it's limited. Now, I don't want to be cynical. I think there are a lot of opportunities with subscription. I think you could look at things like used car with the depreciation is already off. You could look at opportunities such as that. I think the other thing you could look at is a lot of what I'll call lease plus models, where you obviously have access to your primary car. But let's say your daughter comes home for college for 3 months and you need a car for 3 months. Okay, during those 3 months, we could grab a car out of our dealerware system, grab a car out of the service loaner fleet at the dealership, and we charge you $500 more a month for that vehicle. Or you're traveling to Austin, Texas, you're traveling to Los Angeles, we have a silver car location there, boom, you can get an Audi. So I think this concept of being connected, to use your term, to the vehicle beyond just I have a monthly payment, there's massive opportunities there. And I think where it's going to come to bat is not necessarily more volume. I think people will be more loyal and belong to your brand. Because as opposed to, let's saying, oh, it's time to leave, does BMW's payment $20 less, $20 more? It's, oh, I'm leaving this whole ecosystem? Oh, I think I'm going to stay. I have access to all of these cars, at all of these airports. When I go on a ski trip, I get a Q7. I think that's powerful. So there's something there, but here's what you need. You need a relatively big fleet of vehicles, and you need to be utilizing them like crazy. Any lack of utilization, you're losing money.
That's the key, isn't it?
That's the key. And you need a digital ecosystem that can have your mobile phone.
To these new models is high utilization.
Amen.
Yeah.
And since now we own a rental car business called Silver Car now,
yeah.
I'm learning all about utilization.
Silver Car was early. I mean, Silver Car is several years in market now. Got out there pretty darn early.
Yeah. But this is something, honestly, automotive manufacturers know well. Dealerships know well. Whether it's their service loaner fleet, whether it's their demo fleet, they know all about utilization. So it's a skill set we have. We just have to figure out how to scale it appropriately. So my short answer, yes, there's an opportunity. Whether it's exactly what you're seeing right now,
right?
I agree.
How are your dealers? I mean, a lot of the dealers are looking out there saying, "Okay, I read the, I read the Bob Lutz thing in Automotive News a couple months ago, decrying, the end of automotive as we know it, the end of the dealer as we know it." That's Lutz. He knows how to paint a real stark picture in black and white, but it got a lot of conversations going. Huge number of comments. How are your dealers feeling about the future of their business in a changing world of how we relate to cars?
They feel good about it. I think specifically their mood and morale is good, and here's how I know a dealer mood and morale. Every single year, as you know, beginning of the year, we go in and we look at their sales targets for that year. And in tough years, those conversations can take about 5 days. In good years, those conversations take about 5 minutes. So for 2018, those conversations took about 5 minutes. Dealers believe the plan, they want the vehicles, they're ready to go. But to the point of Mr. Lutz, and I love all the provocative aspects of it, but I think you have to look pragmatically at the dealer business. So what are the 3 things dealers do and dealers make money? Sell new cars, sell used cars, and have a service business. So everyone says electrification, service business is over, cars are never going to get fixed anymore. There'll be twice as many internal combustion Audis on the road in 15 years than there are today. So there will be plenty of internal combustion work. The tail that you have with your UIO,
the picture is different than the immediate sell-through picture.
More importantly, I think these cars are going to stay on the road longer because there's going to be consumers that are going to say, I don't want to go electric, I want to sit on this car. This is good for the dealer's business. So any of this myth building that says, wow, one electric car is coming and service business is shutting down is nonsense. The second thing, the used business. It's going to be a massive opportunity to use business. There's a whole bunch of cars that you see launched here today. The only way you're going to get those cars, this is going to be like Road Warrior time, the last of the V8 Interceptors. The only way you're going to get it is in the used car department.
Yeah, right.
The number of V8s and V10s and these big engines, a lot of them aren't going to make them anymore. And then if I look at the new car department, actually another massive opportunity. The reason I think you're seeing a little bit of stagnation in the luxury market is when someone goes to buy a new car today, most of the offers are, we have 5 to 6 more horsepower, we have nicer leather seats, have some new suspension, and it's going to cost you $2 a month more to lease the car. The customer says, I'll stay in my current car. That's why the average age of a luxury car is 12 years. Customers are saying, yeah, new isn't so new. But when a new car is electric, when a new car is semi-autonomous, when a new car has a new connectivity, they're going to say, that's new. So I think this is going to cause a massive turnover, positive turnover, all these cars being purchased. So I am optimistic on the dealer business, and our dealers are optimistic. Granted, are there challenges? Of course.
That's their problem.
That's business.
Okay.
So we've talked economics, we talked utilization, let's talk sheet metal. A7.
Here we go.
Yeah.
What's the story there?
I think we have the all-new car, and I think hopefully you had a chance to see it. I think we have a new head of design at Audi, a gentleman by the name of Mark Lita. This is really his first full concept. You don't want to mess with greatness. The A7 was probably one of the greatest cars we launched.
Yeah, beautiful.
And this one does exactly that. And to me, it's like Da Vinci. You want to have these perfect proportions. Low and wide and long, that's what the A7 is. So you have that. I think the second thing you have is on the interior of the car. Our all-new concept with the touchscreens. I think we did a pretty slick way of going about it. It still has the haptic feel that you know. It still has the handwriting that you know from our Audi touchpad. So I think it's a lot of technologies people know, yet we appropriately upgraded them. So we're excited. The other reason I'm excited, honestly, is I think about when we launched that first car, Audi was selling around 90,000 units a year. People said, wow, this is kind of an odd shape. It's a sportback style. This isn't going to be, this is another quirky Audi. Well, we end up selling 9,000 a year of those. Now we sold 226,000 cars in the US market, and now here comes Gen 2. So a lot of good things have happened with the fireworks of that A7.
How long are you with Audi now total, Scott? How many years?
Whew. I started as Chief Marketing Officer in 2005.
2005,
yeah.
Okay. So you're looking
I became president in 2012. Yeah.
So you've seen some very interesting years. You've seen some, you've run the course that we all did through the recession. Very difficult challenges there. What have you learned over the your tenure at Audi that you didn't know when you arrived about what that brand means? What's the biggest learning you took away that maybe you look back and say, okay, I didn't realize it was that or this or had this attribute?
That's a good question. I think the number one thing I learned is going back to the dealers, the level of passion and fanaticism by the dealer body is outstanding. You know, I think now you're seeing a lot of the success and you're seeing a lot of people saying Audi is this and Audi is that. You know, we had dealers who survived when we had 2% market share and sold 12,000 cars a year.
Yeah, there were some rough days not long before your tenure.
Brutal,
right?
Brutal.
Yeah.
And these same dealers survived that, stuck through that, and these are not generic people with big public companies. These are family with sons and daughters who stuck to it.
And not a lot of turnover. That dealer base has been a lot of the same
A lot of those iconic ones are absolutely still there. And frankly, we collectively couldn't be prouder where we took it from collectively to where it is today. So this sort of, this is not a brand of customers nor of dealers who walk away and take this thing lightly. They fight for what they believe in, they fight for this brand, and they take the darn thing personally, which is one of the reasons why I think we've had so much success. We're not a bunch of day trippers. These are people who are personally committed to this brand in their communities. And that would be my number one thing.
Interesting.
And a good sign of that health is the expansion of the RS line here in the US. I'd say, you know, typically we only get those sorts of toys when the market's doing pretty well. So it's probably a good sign. What things should we expect from the RS line going forward? We have the RS3 and the RS5 coming up.
You know, one, I've been a big proponent. I've been trying to fight for these cars, and now we're finally getting them. The RS3 sedan was a classic one. Historically, what would happen, as you know, is Audi would go with the Sportback. That's the more popular variant. Of course, we fought to get the sedan, and we got it, TTRS, as you know. And we'll see the RS5 Coupe. It's over on the stand there. That car will be launching shortly. And then, of course, we'll have the RS5 Sportback as well. Sportback was a home run model, and we'll have that as well. And I think it'll be soon enough when you'll start to see RS7s. And we have one other surprise we're working on, but I'll hold that one. I think there's a cool European model that we haven't brought in yet. It's been #1 car on my list, so maybe we'll get it. You could probably guess, but I'm not going to confirm.
Can't we? Yeah, okay, we'll have to work on that. Okay. Before we let you go, what are you driving these days?
I'm driving an all-road. So I kind of go into winter mode, and winter mode, all-road, quattro with snow tires.
Okay.
And then I'm waiting for my RS5 Coupe once the weather gets a little nicer.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good to be
nice.
Scott.
It is.
It definitely is.
Hey, all-road, that's a family car. It's a family man's car.
Yeah, it's still sweet though.
Nice
All right.
ride.
Scott, thanks for joining us.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I
Really
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Cheers.